New York Jets interim head coach Jeff Ulbrich says he expects Devonte Adams to play Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Jets' new wideout missed the last 3 games with the Raiders because of a hamstring injury, but he was a full participant in his first practice with New York on Wednesday.
It's a weird thing to say, that I'm happy, but, obviously it was time for a change, and, this whole thing kind of transpired a little weird, but it's at the end of the day, we in a better place. I think that Raiders are in a better place as well, and everybody can kind of move on.
How much say did you have in it? Were you able to tell the Raiders, hey, I really want to go to the Jets?
Essentially, yeah. I mean, that's where it started. I mean, all the fans, everybody who's associated with the Raiders, they see everything. They see, a trade demand, and they just think it's like he wants out. He's quitting on the team, when it's more about just being able to feel like I can impact the game every time I touch the field.
I literally found out at, close to 1 o'clock in the morning when he said he was getting on a plane, and I was just my heart dropped, and I was like, to where? And he said, New York. I was like, really? I never thought this was possible. So having him here, and then the ability to pair him with a budding superstar in Garrett Wilson, it's a pretty special combination.
How is the hamstring, and do you think you'll be able to play with a full load on Sunday?
Yeah, whatever a full load is, but definitely I'll be able to roll. I'll be feeling good right now, and was running around today. We had a jog through practice today, but it was good. Felt good running around.
Hamstring sore when you're with a team you don't want to play for, get traded to a new team, hamstrings all better. Here's Luke Willson, the retired tight end from LaSalle, Ontario. Luke, do you expect Davante Adams to step in right away and make an immediate impact with this Jets team?
Jay, you said it. Tale as old as time. On that flight that Aaron was talking to, that Devonte took to New York, his hamstring magically healed. But to answer your question, I really do think he's going to step in here this week and have a huge impact. And there's a couple of things I look for from a football X and O standpoint. And the first one, when you have to learn a new playbook, is simply not the plays itself, but the verbiage that this team uses, the lingo, if you will. Well, you look at it, even though Nathaniel Hackett is no longer calling plays, this is still his offense. And generally, when you come from a different place, let's say the Green Bay Packers, you carry the same lingo from place to place to place. So Devonte is going to know a lot of the terminology. He's going to be fine in that sense. And the next thing is you've got obviously a veteran quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. So if Devontae's in that huddle and says, hey, Aaron, I'm a little lost on this one, what's going on? Aaron's going to know, and he's got the understanding of the game and the offense to say, hey, your lineup on the right, run this route, this is the concept, or use the verbiage that they used to use in Green Bay just for Devonte. So again, I think that his X and O standpoint, he'll be ready to go. Jay, that magical healing of his hamstring, I think has definitely occurred. And Aaron also said it in that clip we just listened to, but the combination of Garrett Wilson and Devonte Adams with Aaron Rodgers is going to be amazing.
Yeah, Rodgers calling Garrett Wilson budding superstar is high praise from Aaron Rodgers. Don't normally hear that. Listen to this, Luke. We got a new toy. Ready? Here we go. Oh, we broke something. I don't know what that was. Okay. Other big trade Tuesday. The Bills go out and they get Amari Cooper. And first of all, Luke, take a listen to Amari Cooper talking about catching passes from Josh Allen.
As far as the way he plays, I mean, it's phenomenal. Every time I turn on the television and watch him play, he plays with a lot of grit, a lot of hustle. He plays hard, and obviously he's been, one of the top quarterbacks in the game for a while now. So just to be able to play with him and experience that in person, I think it's going to be real cool. Getting traded in the middle of the season, it's definitely a fast turnaround. So I don't know if I've had enough time to really process it, but at the end of the day, it's just football.
It's not the easiest thing, just based on verbiage and terminology and what system he was in before this. And, our system's not the easiest to learn. But, again, the things that I've heard about him and know about him, he's a very smart guy. He's going to work extremely hard, and he's going to figure this out. I'm going to help him as much as I can. But we got a lot of guys in this building that are you know, at his aid, willing to help in at any point that he asks for it. So no doubt he'll get into him real quick.
This wasn't a, hey, the everybody eats motto that was going around, or mantra, that we needed to throw that out. This is back to what Matt's question was really just an opportunity to add a guy that adds an experienced, proven skill set to the group, and, you know, how quickly can we get him fit in, and we'll see where that goes.
Thought that was interesting, you know, Josh Allen talking about verbiage, kind of some of the stuff that you were talking about with Adams. That's so interesting. It's as if you know what you're talking about, Luke. And here's my next question for you. Do you feel like Amari will just be like a straight-up replacement for Stefon Diggs in this Bills offense? Like, can he just slide right into a similar style role?
I actually think it's going to be a bit of a different route tree. Amari Cooper is physically a bigger person. You know, I believe he's about 20 pounds heavier, little more of a true outside guy. I don't think he's as shifty as Stefon Diggs. But within the players that they already have, I think Amari is actually exactly what the Buffalo Bills need. And what an incredible signing for them. I mean, this guy is going to come in, and you heard him say it, and like we talked about in the last chat, it does take a bit if you're not familiar with the verbiage, if the terminologies. But as soon as they can get Amari, you know, ready to rumble, he's their number one guy. This guy is wildly talented. He has been on a long list of teams, especially the last couple of years in Cleveland, with a very, very poor and rocky quarterback situation. His last 2 seasons, he still was well over 1,000 yards receiving. He's going to come here with Josh Allen. This whole everybody eats mantra, throw it out the window. It's going to be the Amari Cooper show, and then everybody else after that. If I'm a Bills fan, I couldn't be more excited. This is a premier receiver that has never been with a quarterback like Josh Allen before. And when they get going here, Jay, it's going to be special.
Yeah, Allen seems pretty pumped about it. Now, Luke, there are two undefeated teams left in the NFL, as you know. Really intriguing matchups this weekend. Really intriguing. You got the 5-0 Chiefs taking on the Niners. And then you have the 5-0 Vikings hosting the Detroit Lions. At the end of this weekend, do you feel one or both will remain undefeated after those tough matchups?
Jay, it's very, very close for me here. I go back and forth, but I think one team will remain undefeated, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. I think this team is rolling right now. I think that even though they've been decimated at wide receiver with some injuries, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are executing at an extremely high level. And the San Francisco 49ers are a phenomenal football team, but they've had some moments of weakness. I think the new defensive coordinator, Nick Sorensen, is still getting a bit of a feel, and he's got to deal with Patty Mahomes this week. Steve Spagnuolo and this defense will make enough plays to get the edge there and find a way to beat the Niners. On the other side, before the Lions fans get too mad at me, I think that in the long run here, they are the better team when compared to the Vikings. But I think the first game cut off the Aiden Hutchinson injury, and right now we're talking on Wednesday to Thursday morning, all we know is that Carlton Davis is also questionable, as is Brian Branch. So you're missing potentially 3 great players on your defense, and your defense is a bit of the weaker link. And the Vikings offense has been very stout. You got to deal with Justin Jefferson. You got to deal with Jordan Addison. You know, Sam Darnold has played really well. I know he's questionable, but it looks like Aaron Jones is trending to play. I think the Vikings probably find a way to get this thing done as the Lions are figuring out who's on their defense this week and also what life is like post Aiden Hutchinson.
At the end of the day, I knew Luke could not pick the Niners to beat the Chiefs.
That's right.
You couldn't live with yourself with that.
I couldn't do it.
You couldn't.
There's no way.
There's just no way. I know this guy too well. Hey, Luke, the Steelers, 3-0 to start the season, still 4-2. Very good start for them. And all of a sudden, Mike Tomlin has decided that now is the time he wants to go from Justin Fields to your old pal, Russell Wilson. Week 7. What do you make of the decision to go now, and do you think it's a smart move?
Well, Jay, I think it's a brilliant move, and I'll tell you why. First and foremost, as much as you sit here and you're like, "Oh, the Steelers are 4-2," a lot of those wins have been in spite of their offensive performance. They have not been an offensive juggernaut. They've had flashes at times where it's looked good, but they have struggled to throw the ball, specifically throwing it, pushing it down the field. The next thing is Mike Tomlin doesn't care what I think. He doesn't care what anybody thinks. He cares about the standard. His age-old saying, the standard is the standard. Whether they're 4-2 or 2-4, he expects guys to play a certain way, and clearly in his mind, Justin Fields has not played up to the standard or a standard that he thinks Russ can bring. They don't owe Russ any money here. This is specifically a move that he thinks gives Russ a better chance, or the Steelers, Russ gives them a better chance to win. And another reason I think he's pushed in that direction is you look at this division and you look how the Baltimore Ravens are playing right now. They're on fire. The offense has seemingly been great. They figured out how to use Derrick Henry. And I think he realizes that if they want to win this division, they need some sort of passing game. And whether it's this week against the Jets or in the future, the better passer between Russ and Justin Fields is Russ. So I get why he's doing it. He's looking at the big picture here. Down the road, he thinks Russ is going to give him the best chance to win, and he's getting him in there. I understand it.
Luke, I can't wait for the Sunday Nighter suddenly. This sounds so intriguing. You got Devonte making his debut. You got Russ making his debut. But before we get to that, let's talk about the Thursday Nighter. Doesn't look like we're going to get Derek Carr. What are your thoughts? Bo Nix and the Broncos, Spencer Rattler and the Saints. That's not important. We'll get Luke's thoughts on this after the Thursday Nighter because Luke joins us after every
Jay,
Thursday
I think
night.
this might be the grossest game we watch all year.
Okay, there you go. The grossest game you're going to watch all year. Thursday Night Football, followed by the best edition of our show you're going to watch all year, because I can't wait to hear what Luke has to say about this grossness. We follow every primetime NFL game this season.